no one is free as long as you supported Mundubile. So dictatorship must be recognized for what it is. The other thing they like doing is manipulation. Ambassador, there is a lot of manipulation. When the president, is talking, he talks as if he's the most caring person. When he's talking, he talks about unity. As a country, let's make sure we do this. And he goes on. The other day, the first thing he mentioned after the elections were announced was that I don't want people in the hospitals to be moving with phones. You need to care for the patients. You see, he's trying to show that he cares so much about people than anybody else. And when he does that, those unsuspecting people, he's appealing to their emotion that this person is actually compassionate. And because he's compassionate, they start identifying with him. But remember, all that is not real. Behind that smiley face, behind that face that is trying to portray a picture of being a nice person, is someone who is plotting serious injustices against their own people. And they make false legal claims. That's another important thing we need to look at. They make false legal claims. When you look at the things that opposition are going through right now, Ambassador, you don't really need to make any mistake or commit any crime. All you need to do is be in the opposition. They are even saying that the people who are supporting the opposition, they don't deserve to even, like the musicians don't deserve to sing, they don't deserve to make any money. And the president was on record saying that he was even feeling pity in the past. Now this time, there will be no pity. He's going to make sure that he deals with the boys. And by the boys, obviously means Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. And today, we are. There is a statement that Mundubile and Makebi have been summoned to go to police. So when you look at all these things that are happening, they are happening for only one purpose. And I want our listeners to pay attention. The purpose is one, to create fear in the people. Number two, to confuse the people about what is really happening in the country. And then to also create dependency and cynicism, where people will start doubting so much because there is a lot of unverified things that are happening. There are so many things floating around in the social media, in the media. So people get confused. They become cynical. Whenever something happens, they're not really sure which one is which. And at the end of the day, they want people to realize that resistance is not possible. Because with resistance, people will attach it to death. As you have seen, already people are resigning. They are no longer going to be politicians. For the first time, we are hearing a lot of people just after elections, they are saying, hey, I don't want to be involved in politics. Because now, fear is gripping the people. And you can't blame these people because right now in Zambia, it is a matter of life and death to be a politician who is not working with the government. And I can assure you and our listeners that as we speak, 90% of the people who are surrounding Hakainde today are there for survival. If they were to have a free will, all those people wouldn't even agree with him. But because they need to survive and their lives depend on this. So I want to urge our people. You need to make sure you identify these weaknesses in dictatorship. There is nothing wrong that Mundubile did. If Mundubile endorsed Hakainde, today Mundubile wouldn't be told that you are treasonous. If today Mundubile was to say, I agree, let's work together, all these charges would be dropped. But that's what dictatorship does. It is about cohesion. With dictatorship, you are not free. Now, we can learn from this by knowing that if we pass through this phase, it is going now to make us as a country become stronger, because once we fight this dictatorship, the next president will strengthen the laws, and the laws are going to be proof of these dictatorial tendencies. Just like the way we have got in other countries. I can cite an example in the US. They have got the Second Amendment. In this Second Amendment, the citizens were given the rights to bear arms. The reason they were given the rights to bear arms was because the forefathers, the founding fathers, realized that one day there may be a tyrant. So when there is a tyrant, in America, there are more guns among the people than the military. So the people are allowed to rise because the founding fathers knew that the Second Amendment was to protect the constitution. So we don't have such in our country, and in our country we don't have a lot of laws to protect the constitution. That's why the man is now exploiting.
You are muted. You are muted. You are muted, my brother. You are muted. Unmute yourself. You are muted. Can you hear me? Oh, we are losing Dr. Sampa.
Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life. Kaili mavoti evebana mubela. Mavoto alipela Mundubile, but my results need different story. You stole his vote. We are now a military state. Who will speak for the people? Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya, if votes are stolen, then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutotweba Kaya, tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Ugu vota Washi, Washi. He came in power on democracy. He now has power through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Apanumba bomfyama soldier. You attack the boys at midnight without regard for their life. Vinshimuti na bakateka with guns. Abateka no goofy. Who killed Mutotwe Kafwaya? Who sent the assassins? Justice not rhetoric.
Let's see if Doc is back. Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
My
Please
apologies.
proceed.
I received the call. Yeah, so like I was saying, the other thing that we need to remember is that the dictators also do what we call, they deny documented abuses. For instance, dictators would even deny something that you are all seeing. Let's give an example. Everybody knows that in Chawama, people stormed the polling station, and those who stormed the polling station were all cadres from UPND. They even got the ballots, and they are recording video those injustices happening. But what dictators do is they will make you not to believe what you are seeing, because using their media, which they control, and they have got edited media, they will make sure that everyone will parrot everything that they are saying, whether right or wrong. So they said, because the opposition are the ones who are causing confusion, they had to bring in the military to protect the votes. But in reality, the military was not protecting the vote, because the people in the problem were agents of the government. So the government just needed to tell the people to say, stop what you are doing. You are our people, we know you. But it's because dictators create problems themselves and then come out like they are now trying to solve them. So this is a very simple thing. Every political scientist must understand this, that there is, in politics, politicians create problems. In political science, there is a theory where you create problems and then come out like you are the savior. And that is what this government has been doing. So they said they are sending the military, but the reason they were sending the military was something else. This is dictatorship. And Ambassador, our people need to know. The other important thing is they discredit truths using lies. Just right now, if you check the social media, even when people are interviewing the president Mundubile, when they are interviewing Mundubile, these media houses, like I said, they are afraid that if they say something or ask questions that are going to make Mundubile seem like they are supporting him, they are going to either close them down or arrest them. So, for instance, how can you report what the report I saw on BBC, Ambassador? That was a watered down report. How can someone even go on BBC and start alleging that there was actually an exchange of gunfire between Mundubile and the armed forces. Who would want to exchange gunfire with the commandos in Zambia? Zambians have never experienced war before. Zambians are very peaceful people. In fact, if you ask most of the Zambians today, they'll tell you that it's the first time they are seeing a commando moving around in town, because we are used to the police. Even when ECO was around, Ambassador, that's why ECO was a Democrat. You know that man, Ambassador, he had a clear case. He was blocked and his life was endangered by an opposition leader. ECL had all the rights. If it was somewhere else, coming close to the president like that, today, HH wouldn't be around. They would have just taken him out. But ECL took the other route. He understood. He is human, and then he understood that we all make mistakes. And I can tell you that his frontal lobe was functioning very well. That's the reason why he had empathy. He was not desensitized. So he was functioning normally, and he said, okay, look, we are going to take you to prison. When they detained Hakainde, when people came to talk to ECL, despite knowing the implications, he still let go of HH. I can tell you today, Ambassador, if ECL stood firm, we wouldn't be in this problem. Because his good heart is the reason we are in this problem, but we can't blame him for that, because he was just exercising his goodness. And that goodness, now we have a person who can't even thank God to say, oh my God, I was so wrong. And that time, God helped me by softening ECO's heart to forgive me. Him, he's going so hard. He's leaving no stone unturned. And I can assure you, this will only get worse. Look, how do you go and arrest a judge for merely advising someone? A judge understands the law. It doesn't mean when you are a judge and you are a retired judge, you can no longer advise anyone about the law. Now the judge has been arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit a felony. Like,
a stupid excuse used to persecute the opposition. The fake treason, democracy is dying. Fire. Tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Zambia is a danger zone. Who vota? Rest in peace. I cry for the wife and kids. Walilomba nefilamba filepona. Umulopa ulefuma. Amasoja bena balekuma. Ubuteko now uses guns. Democracy thrown in dust. What is the purpose of the Constitution? Ballet to take out with guns. You detain opposition to.
Thank you. We've lost Dr. Sampa there, but I think he has made his point. Thank you, Doc. We'll speak to you at the breakfast show. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
My name is Musenge.
Musenge, make your contribution.
Yes, Ambassador. Inekwena ndefo kuipusha kofe. Ama newly elected NRPUP MPs. I think bafwire bakolongane bekale bateke a meeting bamone way forward hiyo benga chitamu help fact bachita petition bantu fye bali kunse abenga chitefintu bachita organize. I'm sure pali ama lawyers and aba palefi, so bekale panshi bafo muntu bachita petition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We continue to take the cause. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. And Tamkwai.
Icho nalala ndachakweba ati mwalimona nanikani Hakainde ni dictator and then balanda okweba ati olwo emishira olwoki inanikani ekintu tachira limbe emishira mufire mwakinukula kwali be proverb ya mukibembeera ndefyo Hakainde nga tatumufumishepo twakula chula fi because eminine mkonaola Zambia it doesn't mean well for Zambians. Na Fabricates kwebati ba Mundubile na ba Makebi zuru kwebati arefu abantu babasunkirisha omunandu wa kwebati eba ipeyo yunanikani, which is not true because in an alitamba video I saw it and I was also traumatized. Now I can also think about abana bali mudia no kubepo kwebati nanikani ichili chons, and that's the reason why I had to bring nanikani dia law ya kwebati cyber law way on earth. Bantu kateka nikateka wachalo and afirare onfo kubantu obwaleteka bantu ifwe tuli mabosses bakwe and therefore ali twisala akanwa haya kwati we cannot talk ngatwalanda ni ufiro waingira mu prison uchiteshani ufiro waingira mu prison, which is not good. Bamambanga twalolesha tuchite compare ali ba Edgar Lungu na nani kani na HH opwaingirira ifika ma adoption kabinga fya kuchitana nikane fya kuchita umuntu bamutakidi napukana nikidinapu nangwashani wasanga ma private party na rubashani fyambira muri HH show safe because ali shopwa iminina it doesn't mean well for Zambians, and therefore Zambians to feel it like kachani ba Mundubile na Makebi mean well for us is the chosen one. Ama nani kane bale iba kwali beya kwebati bale penda on top of ukwiba kupenda then wasana datawe. Let's stop counting takwaba ni mu dictatorship umuntu tafya afira tule kakanwa kesitule isura kanwa bantu ife tuli bosses bakwe and we are the reason why is there pachipuna but pachipuna abantu nga bananda tabele kufwaya. He has to respect it and let it go. Not here kwati epa ishemo na bakaide nomba mwaba ne miropa. Now if I think about udomwana wa leader wa badeletu wa pele message yakwe bati ushibaga Hakainde ntuma umfoshani inenga inangumwana wenu alefo kwati batata bali kwisa bateshi boko bali ndangeni ko fe kuli batata. That was a nani can it was here message no but very powerful mama number afira tontongania kwati mairo alongo you ushi no shit kasha kana tokuli kwisala na bonsa baba kwati bali munani kali muri Hakainde te kwati they are happy no tababa happy ni bali abakwebati nani kani tabaishiba direction tabafo ukwiminina pachishinga. But for us we are going to open akano, and then when it comes to the contribution etwa tukani because twala pele example kumuntu wakwata nani kani wakwata nangu organization yakwata lasunga nangu abantu balapoka impia outside Zambia takwaba kwati bambi kokula checking amozo mu account yako Mundubile ni Makebi zuru bambi kokuchecking amo. No, we are not slaves. Our forefathers fought for us. And you know, because we have never experienced such a Nankan, evil Zambia president who's so evil like Nankan HH Temuntu. It doesn't mean well for Zambians. Takwaba, we have to open Nankan Wikachania. If it means we are going to contribute and to make sure that Mundubile baba nanikani baba mpachipune nanika because it means well for us. Ngatwalolesha mone in Zambia tatukwete nanikani tatukwete president. If we were asked nangwaba na wanji wanji kushokwati mami ba president wenu ni manani waba ku state house kwa wa nanikani open takuwa ba mutuli onsi. There's a reason why it's lafiri ali shofi ati lafiri ama expenses one after the other ukula bepati Mzambia tamu aba god bachomo ya Zambia is a rich country. Mukongo ngabali kwa tamana nikane ifintu fingi ama god nation Zambia na mwena tu alikwata. Instead of us Zambians to benefit on our things, but ale tuikala pansam tuikatane bamnina na wankashi. This is time. No matter what, we should not give up. If it means to contribute, let's contribute to make our leader to be pachipuna because Mundubile is a chosen one and therefore tatwaisala akanono kubazi because of him. No, that no dictatorship we don't want. Na banani kana bakeke badirangira the only one that I see winga chitana nikani divide each other. Ni HH efira balanda tumukuru tapusa kebo apusa kabwe ififi date so mwe na Zambian kwika chani tumwinde ko ipachikuno na tote.
Thank you very much, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Mamamba.
Good evening.
I'll remain anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
Thank you so much. To start with, Mamamba, Muzambia, Mucharo Chesu, Munefile Chitika. Mamamba, it's not normal. Nalam Yevefi. Kuli wosha bakola zava letu mapa. Ngachakutira muntu alandeshinali yakwe nechitali Muzambia. Onjo muntu uri Muzambia uletu mapa ni anonymous. Nishi Mamamba tatwikere bwira I'm telling you. Twale tumapa mafora pana twale tumapa page pamieno apa twatuma twalanda fyonse you are free twalanda na machine yoso but not this time around. Mamamba sonse fifile chitika lesale tusambisha hapo chintu chimo. Now ukubipopo chibipire pakwewo kutilati. Mamamba ngefite fyamfumo kulanda ba doctor. Aba chifuma pono mbalime. Sometimes na wewe mwenye walambo kuyipusha because if it was a chitika, in a death monokukana abanomo. But my friend here, NRF monokuba nomo. Uyopana NRF monokuba nomo. Quite filifi wino. So the papa last warama when we know maybe it's just me who is not thinking properly. But because umunandi NRF monokuba nomo, no yuna ena. Uhambo kuitsa blame when we weka. Uhambo kuitsa blame when we weka. Issue. Iyava Mundubile. It was a plan. Yali planned. Mwisa mumunefe bachitireba mamwamba babantu. Vashire balira pabasenda bachisanga. Baraba bibonse bo basendere balia. Lyashifero bale panga because bali shibyo kwebo kutira ati ilili ashiri ama election ili afika ku petition. So baba lilepo basenda bachisanga. The main person ile bale for palia ni bachisanga. Bachisanga baba senda. Ababambi bose bayingire mufye baya balokinga lelo fish tumwene mukandira bambusenda mamona those are the people obo bale lukushabwa these are the people abenga chita petition na bale ba umani bale ba church bale bona benda balokingire lelo na bena so fyonse fyero file chitika bamwamba ine mwandi nukulande chishinka I even regret for being a Zambian because if you say file chitika it's not normal. And the abantu bambili are even clapping, only speaking. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening. Kindly make your contribution.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate that our country is now, it is fully fledged into dictatorship. Or if you equate that to the Bible, you go to in the book of Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20. The Babylonian system of governance has been established in our country, and God forbid, whereby the truth is twisted to falsehood, while falsehood is the truth. Darkness now becomes the light, while light is exchanged to darkness. Something which is not normal, people look at it as if it is normal. It's quite sad and unfortunate. But we refuse this Babylonian system. Even as we try by all means, as humanity, from a human perspective, we also continue praying. So that in the spiritual realm, where the battle is 100% dependent, sure the devil will not prevail over this nation of Zambia, which has been declared as a Christian nation. The blood of Jesus, the banner of Christ upon this nation will still be triumph. Yes, the war, the battle can be won, but the war definitely God will win it on our behalf, even as we try as best as we can, despite all the intimidation. For heaven's sake, you kill an innocent person and you shed his blood. You keep quiet while you're trying to concoct a lie. Later on, they come up with the liars as a militia. All this is done to ensure that one,
I'll call you back. Yeah.
they if they implicate everyone so that they cannot gather evidence for the petition. They might even go further to implicate everyone, especially even the agents who are collecting the result of the Gen20. In short, they are trying to criminalize everything that is related to petition. Everyone who might be there to read, especially those lawyers who might be put up some repeated fight for the petition. That is what they are trying to do. You begin to wonder what kind of level of wickedness is this. Innocent people, you steal the election. You even start persecuting the people you have stolen from. This is something somebody cannot understand. They create falsehood, knowing very well that they have paralyzed the local media. And if anything, they try also to use the local media to pay to or to advance this narrative of falsehood, to implicate innocent people. I don't know what I don't. It's very, very difficult to understand. Very difficult to understand. May God help this. But otherwise, no matter how they try, the truth will still come out.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yeah, this is Moses calling from India.
Moses, make your contribution.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
Evening, thank you. Yeah, I really feel bad, mostly for the government, what they are doing, and the permanent secretary, Tabo Kawana Hamaundu, when they were giving that statement at Mainasoko. Imagine, they were even laughing. They knew what they did. And then I really sympathize with the old man, Patrick Kangwa. Patrick Kangwa, he knew very, very much because he's a Catholic, catechist at St. Ignatius. He knew, but they just gave them just to deliver that message. And then the other thing, if we see the President HH, how the Catholic Bishop Mpundu, that's an indicator what he did to Bishop Mpundu. Mr. Mwamba, you are aware that Bishop Mpundu was supporting HH, yeah, because from the first, but the way he did to Bishop Mpundu, it was really bad. Bishop Mpundu, when he was staying there along Airport Road, he never visited the Bishop Mpundu. That's a sign that this man is a dictator. So please, for sure, what they are saying, those who are in Zambia, if a person said that is anonymous, just know that is not in Zambia. The reason I said my name, because I'm in India. Please, Mr. Mwamba, just help us. We are all Zambians, because at one point we're supposed to come back. That's the Zambia we want. Thank you very much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm known Paula. I don't want to mention my name because
Make your contribution, my dear sister.
Yes, please, Mamba. First thing first, if you want to focus on the fact that our affairs for our imposed body for is not the president, has become a prayer point. Because looking at his behavior, how he nayachilamu, that balande at Mundubile kwetama dangerous weapon munga ndimo bekala nabana how at quad fire exchange did they get the showcases upper exchange, and why didn't they bring those things on media? Because definitely nobody signed anything to show following the, or that very day they were going to display everything, but they didn't picture anything. The only thing, if I taken like the death of Kafuaya and the other guy, we heard that they died. And even after his death, they kept the body for days. And they denied, saying, no, as we don't have this body here, we don't know where he is. And yesterday, before they announced his death, they said, no, the wife confirmed that he's alive. But later, after a few minutes, they said, now this man is declared dead. What is happening in this country? Because I was listening to that, no, we are going to prosecute you, what. Those two are innocent. ababantu ekitabaleva afe ni petition ife akwata abantu abakite petition because those dangerous weapons they shan kyabufi because truly babantu babayi bakate bad kwete intelligence but how come tabayi from kuchitarate or getting those things because someone died in the process. Elo nomba bese na statement that no people should accept a result. People are hate bamwamba. Me, I'm from the copper belt. Abantu badi fudwa, abantu badi absent minded. And this man, he spent his 5 years upekana rungu. Now he's going to spend another 5 years upekana Makebi na Mundubile. So Zambians, we need to protect these two. If you go at what to silence, no, when you talk, you're going to die or what, no, we need to talk. Because this man is a dictator. Ngatuwa mulikera kofi ya papeni. Akatutola ni bakambo kutukanya no kulanda. Ababa ankwabo. But kwa tom timo ubi. Tawa kwa tano obise. And I blame ECO like wabambiwa kola. He was so nice. Because by ECO wabambika kuwayo. This time ngatuima problems yaso. But the man thought of, okay, I'm a Zambian, I'm a Christian. But at the end of the day, buy it to stick. Up to now, ECO is still in South Africa. But there used to be economic market to the look of things. These guys might don't go, but they're going in. There's no two ways about it because this man doesn't want anybody to challenge him. I'm a vote variva in any one of the monitors. Alecha reach the kind of variva ukwiba so na for to tambako no tambako. Even after stealing those votes, you have the victory. Why can't we move on as a country and leave these other people? Now, but if because said no, I will deregister all the political parties. What right does he have? If someone had done that to him, the longer I am president, our uncle, you mutinava. Now, but to son of uncle, abantu never flow. So, up a number of Mundubile and Makebi. 5 years, yala for the imp. Tafina bachitira kuri rungu tabakwata omutima wakwerera but shimonji takutuwebshati ushelesa ishaikalirezi omusango oyo because uyo uli omugazi nafa omutoto kafoya nafa but body nishinabakwata mitima yashano bakwata. And the other question that I want to ask, Padabambiwa bodyguard wamfuila china vena he was gunned down. Mushama relatives yabama body very kwisa or very kwisa because they said no, this man we didn't know where he was, but later one that is dead. What about the other guys who died? Where are they? Hello, second, before they start a court session, they should show us I know dangerous weapons over Sangide, Bakatulange, because the way I know these guys, stand up all over social media. Because Munamunganda, it's a private property where you're staying with your wife and children. I don't think the Mundubile can keep those dangerous weapons in his home where there are children and their wives. I don't think so. But the gig is up. And but I want to encourage my fellow Zambians. Let us hold our peace, but if go and support them. Give them support because this man can offer someone. It's like but God is above all. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from and make a contribution.
Yeah, Anan Maskola from Ndola.
Thank you.
Honorable, I want to Tusha. And there's one thing that I just want to ask. I know about the Umfako Vengi. If your footage is not 60, na Rama put it 60. Ngapoke Saruta Zambia chino. Because never wasangri. To know what about the attempt to overthrow our country. But they've taken Mundubile and Makebi quite in quite a bunch of I don't know how to put it, but maybe criminals. It's very disheartening where we are right now. I saw a video in Kitwe where these army officers were deployed. Umuntu alite pari moto kasi alite kafe moto kaba ama piva muma. When a person is not running away, there's nothing.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm anonymous. I'm within Zambia.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
I'm quiet. When I want, before I forget, when like somebody says, said before, ngawa umfu abantu isho balanda, imoni mwatontonga yati kushane bona ishaba nomo, nangu abaye batunturu nangu ine shitontonganya. Because some things you can easily see, but this is not right. But you find abantu elwenseleshile tukwana muno Muzambia katwishile sekwele. Kachako batilesa achili muno Muzambia bantu kwena tafichitika. Inende mona kwati muno bali tubika muchipotoro. Bonse fyabena Zambia bali babika muchipotoro takwa abafi. Abantu abasuminisha ifintu ifishirondorweke bonse fe balelanda fe 3/4 balelanda balesuminisha ifintu ifishirondorweke tabale mona musensi mufire moneke ifikwete sensi ni kwatna kali bale babika abantu mu ipotoro. Number 2, bintu ba Mundubile na ba Makebi zuru bale mu rallies bale ba challenged na ba kapukola fiarimbi baba blocker shani, like we take an example like who Western Province, when they were in Western Province. Kwali ama tear gas kwali nshi. Na chakwe batibali babantu abakwata ama nanikani ama arms ama footy and whatever, that they has been made for them to be called militia. Ngachakwe batibali kwatefyo, would they have been going through what they've been going through all this time? That is one reason why I can't accept the whatever is being spoken about them, that Niva militia nabakwate if you because sponsor babale bachusha nabe nanga bale sta produce into they could have been protecting themselves, but they've never. So I wonder what makes people think that bali kwate into. If you don't believe loko mu Zambia nimbi bali tuchitongo tibali tubika kuchipotolo na chene chikulu ichi chikulu chicha kubika kuli water nanikane chichi, because there's just it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Tumashutu nono tunachukatu kulanda kumbaina.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mwamba.
Good afternoon.
This is Emmanuel. I'm calling you within the United States.
Okay.
I'm following up your statement, but sometimes we have to be honest, Mr. Mwamba. It's not that I hear the previous caller, not the lady, the other one, the guy who was saying if you hear the statement yaba secretary yaba Patrick Kangwa, secretary to the cabinet,
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Make a contribution.
Yes, good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Thank you. This is LB from DRC.
Yes, LB, make a contribution.
Thank you. My question, Ambassador, is where are the statesmen in the country? Where are our traditional leaders in the country? That is my question, sir. Where are they? Are we going to continue living like that, surely? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's take 2 last calls and then we go and prepare for breakfast tomorrow. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, caller.
Yes, good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Yes, my contribution, Ambassador, is on this militia group with this government is trying to brainwash us. To start with, it is us who is making this man to be who he is. And this behavior, Zambians, the way we are behaving, if this was the heart that our forefathers had, they would have not attained independence. Zambia wouldn't have been liberated if at all they behaved the way we are behaving now. You would wonder and ask yourself, you hear someone saying, then you look at someone, then you question yourself, is it me who is not normal? What? To them, whatever is happening is okay. But this is very bad and very, very terrible. Now, this militia issue, honestly, a normal, well-meaning Zambian can just read between the lines and tell to say this is just a cooked-up story. Look, we had this first from President Mundubile, and he was picked from his own after the damage was already done to Honorable Mutotoka for his so rest in peace. They took wherever they took Honorable Brian Mundubile, wherever they wanted to take him. In his narration, the room was locked, they had no keys. Then he was asked where they can drop him, and they had to drop him wherever he was dropped. If there were these allegations, why letting him go? Then again, they wanted to come and look and arrest for him a second time. Which government does that? Then they are telling us that they are the most incompetent and dull government on earth, where you've arrested someone, you've recovered the weapons and so on, but again you let the suspect go. Who does that? It only shows that all these are just cooked up stories. Inajonzela mwambandala ndati ala isambi dira leto bukopo mumuntu kuba kusa mtonga panuma na chichitikero waisairu kati palianga na chichitaso ndio palianga na chichitaso. This is what these guys are trying to do. This is what these guys are trying to do. Because honestly, today they are telling us of those weapons and all that, but why did then they let the man go when he was apprehended in the first place? Those are questions that we, Patrick Tango, who doesn't know Kudrot, Pakabronga, who doesn't know Kudrot? Those who in the rain, Takwa Rempanga Kudia, Takula Tiwabutukira Mumpanga, Chavashani. Then you tell the people that now Bali Butuka. Honestly, it's not just adding up. There are no Finabo very banga. I know what I think about at least the Shabako coordinated, but not this. It's very painful, tempers are very high, and people are feeling like bad because people cannot talk. But now, should people be put beyond this? I think we've taken the peace that our forefathers fought for granted. And he should bear in mind that the biggest population in our country are the youths. And the youths, they've got nothing to lose. Don't have a wife, you don't have children, they've got nothing to lose. Should the youth rise to challenge this, it will be a second independence. Because even our first independence, the youth, I think they played the bigger role. Let us not make this man be who he is.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. Let's take some more calls before we close. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
We are calling you from Kitwe.
Yes, my brother. Make your contribution.
Actually, tulidda ambassador Chakwebati Mosca Moisa Mukutanda Banganda Pomwan. Olo ba polisi baisa basange fintu munganda mwandi baisa ikata imwe mwabachisa mukutandara basha enene mwino wanganda ine mumu wacha mukutandara wa misenda kushafire panga sensisho so ba UPND bafire basambiriro no kwishoko bati Zambia teba ichibeka baba mu tunatontonkanya kaitura mona Jonse fia chitike charo chari mona. Ese va chita vari chibipe vari pera fia charo mwenso va pere charo mwenso ko bati. Abantu bera aranda because vari yeshi bionsa amapara no koleta mafunde onsa yo barete ko bati. Bashita silence ubufwayo wabantu. So deso muino kwali. Foto araro lo shafe ko dilese wa mwamba. Deso muino wa imishe Mundubile. Emwini leso waramurura na Mundubile na muri ino inishita na Makebi zuru desafio mwini gozi bamwamba kwali bama political parties ayo ngisana ali kuno moko but lesa isa sarapoko imebala abantu babiri so umwini lesa adishibe kwa kube imebala abantu babiri necho alechi mwini yekara baruira atotera.
Thank you very much. Let's just get some development that has occurred in the last 2 hours. Let us just look at the latest development that have just occurred in the. There's so many things evolving so quickly, and we have some latest news. Let's just let me just look for my picture quickly. Thank you very much, dear viewers. We'll be closing shortly, but there's been some development. The Inspector General of Police has issued, has confirmed what we started with the program, that they've fabricated treason and insurrection charges against Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. The Inspector General of Police has confirmed that they've summoned Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu to the police, and they're inviting them to appear. I don't know what do you think that they should appear? I think there's an attempt, as we have seen, they've locked up George Sanga, who should have been the main petitioner, helped to the main petition. They've locked up Celestine Mukandira. Now, Wakaele judge, former judge, were earning Stali, former Constitutional Court judge. They've locked up nearly everyone, and they're intimidating witness. So the Inspector General of Police has just issued a call out for Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. Let's play what the IG said.
To Mr. Brian Mundubile or Mr. Makebi Zulu. The Zambia Police Service, in collaboration with other law enforcement agencies, is aware of the location of the duo who have sought refuge under international law with a non-international organization. The government has already communicated with the said organization and made assurances that the suspects are entitled to the due process of the law and their fundamental human rights, and that there is no harm intended to be done on them in any way. In the same regard, the police is likely to invite the other members of the public who may be regarded to have information that may be of high value to the ongoing investigations. And the public is hereby advised to cooperate and help with investigations whenever they are lawfully summoned. In the event that a person of interest under the said in ongoing investigations fails to avail themselves to the police or responds with threats, violence, or blatant attack on law enforcement officers, the applicable laws and proportionate measures will be taken in order to ensure that there is compliance with lawful requests or call-outs that are intended to help the police carry out its investigative mandate. At this occasion, it is imperative to inform the public that the police is also actively investigating crimes of terrorism and terrorist financing, which are a threat to national security, and members of the public are therefore encouraged to expeditiously notify the police of any suspicious activities or conduct that may encounter. In the same vein, members of the public are hereby cautioned not to harbor, collaborate, or assist persons who are known to be persons of interest or wanted by the police. Such persons will be treated as accessories after the fact, and as such subject to applicable criminal sanctions. In a similar vein, any person or organization involved in the financing of activities of persons of interest and their collaborators will be deemed as accessories and therefore subject to criminal sanctions.
Thank you very much. You were privileged to be on this program when we started 3 hours ago, and we informed you that the police are pursuing Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu with treason and insurrection charges, totally false charges. They are meant to have them and lock them away. We told you that Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu were at a UN facility because I think they feared for their lives after the raid, and where Brian Mundubile escaped that assassination attempt. And we told you that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had since written to the UN agency to compel it to surrender Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. And here, the Inspector General of Police 2 hours later, have confirmed exactly what we told you. We can take phone calls just regarding this development. Amnesty International has just issued a statement. Amnesty International has demanded for the probe in the killing, the unlawful killing of former Minister of Transport and Communications, Honorable Mtoto Kafaya. Those are the two developments that we have since we began the broadcast. The statement started with Secretary to Cabinet. He didn't disclose. It was broad, talking about hate speech and use of social media fairly. And the IG has confirmed what we warned you, that they've prepared charges of terrorism and treason against Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile, and they hope to lock them away for a long time. And we told you that there are people around them related to the petition that they wish to bring against President Hakainde Hichilema. That is being fought very hard. We saw activities in NRPUP that has removed Brian Mundubile, allegedly removed Brian Mundubile from NRPUP. That was to attempt to deplatform him, that he doesn't have a locus stand in the Constitutional Court. Of course, that is in vain. And there were some people in Tonse and Pamosi Alliance being coordinated to attempt to remove both Makebi and Brian Mundubile from Tonse. This is again an attempt to deplatform them. And now there's been an attempt to remove anyone around them who can bring an electoral petition. Celestine Mukandila, our Secretary General in Tonse Pamosi Alliance, has been picked up at the purport that they want to pursue what are they saying? His immigration status. How do you pursue a Zambian born in Zambia who's a Zambian? His immigration status is the aim is very clear. Ensure that the electoral petition doesn't land in the Constitutional Court. We only have up to, is it Monday or Tuesday, to bring that petition. So they've converged and converted the entire machinery to attempt to prevent that application from taking place before the Constitutional Court. Yesterday, they invited Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu to go to the Human Rights Commission. The executive director had issued a statement condemning state action regarding the military raid on Brian Mundubile's home, and they invited them to go there. Of course, before they could go there, we found that the entire Human Rights Commission was surrounded by the police, a lot of them in plain clothes and some in hiding. They thought as soon as Brian Mundubile and Makebi come to lodge their complaint, they were going to pounce on them. That is the status where we are now with these false charges against Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. And I've stated, the only crime Brian has done is to win an election. The only crime Brian has done is to come from obscurity 3 months ago to the local and international stage where many believe he won these elections. And the embarrassment by the president is he wishes and his infrastructure to hold on to power. He abused the military. Wane, nikwesa mwene wa komando kusolwezi. Kukasa makumansa kuchipata. Have you ever seen commandos everywhere? Never. This is an elite special unit of our army. It's never abused. If there was any time that you could have seen the army commandos, the commandos, is if you live in Lusaka West, or if you live in Ndola where they used to be, or those older folks that would witness the war between, our liberation movements and the Sellers scouts from southern Rhodesia, in Petauke, Luangwa area. That's the only time you would have seen our special forces. They are our elite unit of the Zambia Army. Today, Kubashita deploy on an armed citizen spread across the country. Now, someone was asking me that why have they done that? Why did Ziele do that? Now, Ziele is a person of verge of being arrested. And what did we see? We saw the president remove the army commander and promote the very person the SEC were seeking to arrest. Ziele is an extreme smart man. What he has done in this election is to tie the presidency to himself, that he can be fired. By spreading your elite units in Mongo, in Solwezi, in Ndola, in Mansa, in Chipata, in Lusaka, what he has done is to involve the most elite unit of our country into his crime to impose President Hakainde Hichilema. If President Hakainde Hichilema wants to fire Ziele, he will have problems, because he will have those loyalists that participated with Ziele in this crime. What you are seeing evolving is a matter for history. Our country has changed forever. And if you've seen how instability arises, whether it's in the DRC, for us who are students of history, everywhere, Sierra Leone, everywhere is the active involvement of the military in civil affairs. When they cross that line, you have trouble. And now they've killed an innocent man in a minister of, former transport minister. They've crossed the red line. Mtoto Kafwaya, unarmed, at a civilian home. They've just come from the African Union with his colleagues. And today he lies dead. A line has been crossed. Student of history, learn these facts, pursue them. You can extrapolate where we are going if we don't actively arrest this matter. I saw callers saying, Bamwamba, where are our elders? Where is the church? I saw a wonderful write-up by Dixon Jerry also asking, where is the body of Christ? Of course, he attributed it to the high polarization, or 80% of them being bought by the president. We have a problem. No elders, no former president, no one to stop President Hakainde Hichilema on this dangerous path he has taken with our country. And today, Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu, all they did was to participate in an election. That has become a criminal activity. They are lumped up with false charges of military insurrection. So let me take your phone calls quickly and we close because I have a breakfast show and I've got some matters to attend to quickly. Someone was saying, we have to put our all for our country.
To Mr. Brian Mundubile, all Mr. Makebi Zulu. The Zambia Police Service, in collaboration with other law enforcement agencies, is aware of the location of the duo who have sought refuge under international law with a non-international organization. The government has already communicated with the said organization and made assurances that the suspects are entitled to the due process of the law and their fundamental human rights.
Let me take some few calls before we retire. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you, Ambassador. Wow. Thank you so much for allowing me again. My name is Robert Amamba. It's a very sad day. I have spent time with Makebi, and what Hakainde Hichilema is doing to our country, and I need the Zambians to listen to this. Makebi has been fighting for some of our former presidents. And like ECL, Rupia Banda, including Nevers Mumbai, he said it himself. What they're accusing Makebi of, I don't know what these people eat or smoke. Because, what has happened here is, Bamdara Babade Tekala, he lost the case in South Africa. And being the competitor that he is, he brings that grudge in this election. And you can see why he doesn't want this petition to go ahead. Because if at all they said, you go and maybe a rerun or anything, this man lost terribly. He will be even lucky if he even got over 1 million votes. And that's why he's doing all these things. Because anyone that knows that, okay, I did well and stuff, okay, let them go and petition. And then they'll say, and he is blocking them at every juncture. And what he's doing here as a Zambian, he's not doing this only to Makebi. He is doing it to the Zambians because you Zambians rejected him. And he's now subjecting you to the pain because he knows that over 4 million people that voted, they voted for Makebi. And I'm going to make them suffer. And this is what is happening here, Mwamba. He wants us to suffer. He wants us to cry because he knows that we cannot fight with the army. Any normal person, Hakainde Hichilema prides himself to be an Adventist. I am an Adventist myself, and we pride ourselves on the 10 commandments. And one of them is, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But this elder is not showing anything that I see in an Adventist. Because where we are now, people are crying in their homes. And this man is not even stopped. He cannot even give Zambian a breath. For some of us that are mourning for the loss of our former leader, to even give us a break. No. But this man has no empathy, or just like, I'm going for the juggler. Nara Nomba, Mundubile and Makebi, this is often Arab Africa. And I want the Zambians to listen to this, Mama. All these accusations that he is putting, not even Makebi naba Mundubile emilando apangile during this election. He knows he used the army, he knows he rigged, and he knows that everything that he did was wrong, to the point of the same case because that's what exactly he did. You Zambians, let us pray and keep Makebi and Mundubile in our prayers, because they are nowhere near all this nonsense that these guys are spouting. Is even failing to read. Do these people have a conscience? Can't anyone just say, you know what? You've gone too far. This is too much. This is too much. And we say, enough is enough. If you think you won this election, let the petition go ahead instead of you trying to make people run away from the country so that you remain on your own. This country, this man might be thinking is going to be there for that. You never know. Only God knows. And this whole issue that is created, Mamwamba, of holding certain people in certain positions, like what you said, if Atoy makes any mistake with Ziyaris, if something happens in there, he shouldn't say it's the opposition because he created this problem. For me, Mamwamba, I am very, very, very low, very, very disappointed. I've never cried in a long time, but what he has done to my good friend Makebi, it's nothing. It's nothing. Makebi is a Christian boy. He grew up in a church and he worked hard to be where he is. Not if these guys, and I'll say something, Mamamba. Even when I was telling people that we're fighting for the second independence, people thought, Yashifie. There's a pattern here that I am seeing. And Mamamba, I'll tell you, it's close to tribal cleansing. There's a pattern. You look at the number of people that these guys have arrested. Look at the names. There is a pattern here that is going on. And what hurts the most, there are those brothers and sisters that can actually see that their brothers are being persecuted. But because of their greediness and selfish ways, they can't even see. May God help them. For me, I think we are in trouble. If this trend is not stopped, I don't know how we survive. I don't know how we look at each other. And I think the country that we know now, thank you, Mamamba. Thank you.
Okay, let me just take two or more calls and we close for the day. Let me just take two more calls. We close for the day. We 2, 3, maybe 4 at most calls so that we quickly close and let you rest, and we have a breakfast show tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. I think we close the show. Thank you very much all for calling, and we'll speak to you at the breakfast show.
News in the social media. Mundubile masoja ya muyenela. They aimed at his life. Kaili mavoti evebana mubela.